Good morning. It's 10:01 on Monday, October 16th, 2023. We call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please rise, Commissioner Mahler is going to give our invocation.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today realizing there is turmoil in the world. There is turmoil in our community. Bad things happen, even to good people, Lord. And we just ask that you would help us to continue to keep our eye on the prize and realize that God is on his throne and everything is going to be okay. We just need to do our part to move along and do the best that we can to interact with our fellow human beings and do the right things and just be good citizens here in Wichita County. Lord, we just ask that you would protect our county family. We have people with health challenges, and we ask that you wrap your arms around them and help them. You are the great physician, and we know that you've got the power to make great things happen. Lord, we just ask that you would be with those that step into the line of fire to protect us. And I'm talking about our military, our first responders, our medical staff, all those people that go the extra mile to make sure that our community is safe and a great place to live. Lord, we just ask that you bless this meeting, help us to do the things that would be joyful in your sight. We'd ask that you would bless each and every one of us in the county family. We ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Let's do the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Everyone may be seated. Thank you. All right, we're not doing the certificates of appreciation and service awards this week. We will be doing those next week, so we will skip over that. And at this time, we would like to invite Heather Simpson of Better Living for Texans.
For Texans.
Yeah, for Texans. Better Living for Texans up to give a presentation on programming.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Excellent.
I was here just a couple months ago, so I don't have a ton of new information, that is. But I wanted to give just a brief overview of our Walk Across Texas Youth Summer Program that we completed just right before school started. And it was actually our third year running this program in the county, and each year it just keeps growing and it gets larger. We have two community centers that participated this year. They are full-time summer camp programs. And our Walk Across Texas program is a youth program that is done. The intention is to be done online. They say it's done online, but the extension agent, myself, and sometimes Katrina, if she just is involved with that program, we are heavily involved in the program in that we go there weekly to drop off all of the handouts, the newsletters, do any type of educational pieces that we may do with the kids. And then also we make all of the printouts and everything for the parents. We provide recipes that they get every week. And so anything that they need to have, and when I say they, I mean the summer camp counselors and the program directors there, we will provide for them so they don't have to do all that. But the teams, and a team is just an unlimited amount of kids at each center. So each team is just a center, where our adult program is a little different. There's 8 participants to a team. There's an unlimited number of youth that can be on a team. So we do teams per center. And so there was 2 that participated, the All Hands Community Center, and also the YMCA. And there was a total of 295 program participants, and of which those, there is the opportunity to have an adult participant on the team. So we always encourage the staff members to get involved, and it's like a good friendly competition because sometimes the adults think that they can walk more miles than 100 kids, but that's never the case. So they always participate. So we had 32 adults and we had 263 youth participate. And so the program runs for 8 weeks. Each week the kids are responsible for tracking their mileage. They track it via steps or miles. We convert their steps into miles if they decide to just give us a step count. But they all are given a pedometer watch and a water bottle at the beginning of the program. So we always do a kickoff event. The kickoff event this year was just kind of a hoorah, I would call it that. I go in and kind of get them excited about what they're doing. They are given a bingo card that they have to complete through the 8 weeks, and so that kind of keeps their attention through the 8 weeks. The bingo card is specific from week to week, so they can't just finish it all in 1 week. They have to, it's dragged on for the 8 weeks. But they're encouraged to track all of their steps for the whole day, not just an hour of whatever activity they're doing. So it gets them to really understand on a grand scale, like how much they're moving. And since there are so many kids, we do a Walk Across America theme. And so from week to week, I go in and I post on a board or give them a handout on how long or how far they have walked with their team. And so, for example, I usually just give it about 2,500 miles a week because they will walk 10,000 miles a week sometimes, depending on how many kids are at each center. And so they will learn about a different state each week. And I just highlight an agricultural aspect of it in terms of, okay, we're in Florida, here's what Florida's fruit or vegetable is. We give a little bit of information about that. We will talk about a state animal, and then we'll also talk about something that they're famous for. And it's usually, obviously, since we're AgriLife Extension, it will be ag related. And then they are given that throughout the week. So for the 8 weeks, they have walked all the way across America. So they go from Texas east all the way up to the upper Midwest, and then down through California and back to Texas. So they kind of learn at least 8 to 10 different states throughout the 8 weeks that they've gone. This year they logged 46,865 miles between the 295 participants, which equates to about 158 miles per week per participant. So that was pretty good. The program activities that they did, in addition to the Walk Across America and the state nutrition facts that we did, was the kickoff and wrap-up events are a big deal, but the wrap-up event is quite interesting in that we go and do a huge, are you doing the math on that? Because I think it's wrong. I'm like, wait a minute. It was 158 miles. I don't know, I have to look at that again, how I did this. I did this a couple days ago. I was doing a lot of things. So if we take those miles and divide it in between the 295, you can give me something.
So they're running 6 marathons in a week?
Well, when you think about how many, it's steps, and I might have done it not in miles, and I did it in steps. I'll get back to you on that one. Either way, the total miles logged were the 46,865. The wrap-up event was at the YMCA this year. They participated in an obstacle course. So they have 8 to 10 stations, and they go from station to station. They spend about 5 minutes at each station. But they will do everything from yoga to Foursquare to My Plate volleyball or My Plate twister to just some dice games where they have to roll the dice and then do some physical activity, hula hooping, and just like a standard obstacle course type of event. And so they really like that. And then they all receive a reinforcement item at the end of the program, which this year was an insulated lunchbox that everybody very much liked. It came with some Tupperware and silverware, and so they were able to take that to school and use it for their lunches and get to reinforce all the things that we taught them. So that is it on the Walk Across Texas program. But also before I leave, I wanted to give an update on an adult program. So our Better Living for Texans program committee, we're really trying to hit the adult graduates this year. And so we want to increase those numbers immensely, as we talked about the last time I was here. And so we have a new program series through Better Living for Texans and AgriLife Extension. It's called Get a Taste for Reducing Food Waste. It's on the back of your sheet that you have. And so this is specifically to teach individuals how to reduce their food waste in their home. And why that's very important is people need to understand the impact of food waste that it has, not just nationally, but locally in their home. And so we give a lot of data on the first session on that. It's extremely surprising to people. For example, I just taught this class on Monday, but it's equates to the United States can easily fill, it's very hard to get this data exact, but the United States can easily fill the Rose Bowl of food waste every single day. So that is a lot. It's about 20 pounds per person per week of food, or I would say maybe per month per food, or a month of food. So it's a lot of food waste that people expel every day, and I don't think most of us know how much we waste food. So why is that kind of relevant? Well, not only is that costly, especially for people who are trying to save money, but a lot of that can be turned into different meals. So we can have leftovers. How do you make leftovers? Instead of going and just saying, oh, we don't really have anything in the fridge, let's go buy something, let's go run through the fast food place, they can make something out of whatever they have in their fridge. And so we kind of brainstorm that. We also talk about composting in the home, and you don't have to have a grand compost setup, and you don't have to have a huge garden. You can do something tiny. And so we give 3 different options on how to do that. But we also talk about food labels and how to look at and read the food labels. Is it really expired? What do they mean? So a lot of that data on those boxes or even cans, it's just communication between the manufacturer and the store. And so people think, oh no, I have to throw it away, and it's really not bad. So it's just getting them familiar with that. And so right now we are running a class at the Big Brothers Big Sister building with the TOPS group. It's a weight loss group that meets once a week, and they are on session 2 tonight. And so I hope to run this class again in February. I reached out to the YMCA downtown to see if they would be open to having an agency highlight. It's something that I do every now and again, where I invite agencies to come that has participants that would fall in under the demographics that I reach, and hopefully they will say yes to that. But it will be an opportunity for even you guys to come in and look in depthly at each table and see what the series is really about, and that way agencies can start to refer some of their clients to us, and then hopefully we can run a class there in February. So that's all I have today, and we need to find out that number. So it's going to bother me now.
I think it was just that's the miles over the total.
Yes, I think that's what I did. Thank you. So is there any questions about the programs or anything like that?
Heather's that Rose Bowl full of food.
Yeah.
Mostly every day.
Yeah.
It's costing probably about twice what
Yes,
it did,
yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's-
So we talk about that. Session 1 is a lot of statistics. I feel like I've taught this class now twice. I got to pilot it here last year, and then I ran the first one with just the general population last week, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, because people don't think about it. Yeah, and we talk about what happens to that food. Where does it go? What does the county need to do to make sure that it is not, an issue? So I think by the end of the series, people really get to know how they can just control it in their house a little bit.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? All right, thank you, Heather.
Interesting, thank you.
All right, do we have any other presentations this morning? All right, it is 10:15. At this time, let's open up the public comments. As a reminder, we ask that comments be limited to 5 minutes or less, and the court cannot take action on any items brought up during public comments. Does anyone have comments? Well, I do. Just want to highlight, we're doing town halls again this week. We'll be out in Electra Tuesday night at 6 o'clock at Lynn Event Center.
Real close to the post office in
Yep.
Electra.
Commissioner Watson and I will be doing that one. And then on Thursday, we'll be in Iowa Park again, 6 o'clock at Sammy's Social, right there on Old Iowa Park Road. And then Commissioner Mahler and I will be doing that one. Whether you live in that precinct or not, you're welcome to attend any and all of them. Had a good one in Fort Burnett last week. A lot of good questions, engaged folks who are engaged on the subject matter. So again, just invite everybody in the county to come out Tuesday or Thursday night. Do we have any other public comments? Melanie, good to see you this morning from Senator Springer's office. Do you have any public comment?
No. Working away in Austin, hopefully everything's fine.
Okay. All right, then it is 10:16 and public comment is closed. This time, let's move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions or items for the consent agenda?
What is number 4? I don't have any backup, and I was just curious.
That was the scans the original 1916 footprints of this building, so they were in a deteriorated state, so I had them high-res scanned, colored, so we can preserve those documents.
Okay. Just didn't know what it was. Couldn't understand that at all.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Did I beat him, Judge?
I think you got it just under the wire. All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Mahler to approve the consent agenda. Any questions or comments on the motion or any items on that side? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to general business, item number 1, review and approve the regular bill for payment. Order County Treasurer to disperse payroll and bill payments within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the Treasurer's office.
So moved. Second.
All right, I heard that as Commissioner Beecham made the motion and Commissioner Fincannon seconded. All right. We have a motion to approve, again by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, discuss HVAC replacement plan with Head of Maintenance, Ricky Sykes. Mr. Sykes, would you come forward and give us the lowdown on what the proposal is here?
Basically, I thought it was going to be a different setup here, that we were actually going to vote on trying to get this done. But as it stands, just the conditions that exist. So we have the 30th courtroom right now that's in disarray. The units that serve that area are 1991 systems. So they're spent. I mean, or they're right there at the end of their life. They're not leaking water yet, but that's yet. So what we've looked at is trying to get some pricing to get those units replaced during this period while it's down, which is the most thoughtful time to do it until it's occupied. Then it would be a disruption in service. So also in this project, when we pull these units out, when they were installed years ago, nobody ever thought that they would ever leak water. They have steam, condensate, chilled water, and also air conditioning condensate that comes out of those units. So they're going to leak. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And when they do, water goes down. And
they set where now, Rick?
right now they set in rooms. I'd call it a mechanical room, but a mechanical room is actually designed to contain water, or in case of accidents like that. These units were never designed. They were just put in there and ducted in and said, let it rip. So during the process, when these units come out, then I'm thinking we're going to go in and put a floor in. It's actually be a sprayed in top floor that'll seal that area. And then we can put a water guard in there, which when it senses water, it'll shut the system down and give us an alarm through our control system. So it just makes sense to do that now instead of just pulling it out and sticking another one back in there and then hoping it doesn't leak, because it will leak just like anything else. So that process is considered throughout all the replacements.
But
So-
on this for the 30th, how many units are affected?
Two systems,
In two separate closets?
2 separate closets. Yeah.
And have you priced that job?
Yes,
What's
Yeah.
it looking like?
it should be in the.
So the waterproof, that is also included in this number?
No,
No.
I put in here that I was still waiting to get pricing for the doing the water
Okay.
are doing the floor treatment. I did get that since then, but I didn't have it prepared or ready by the time I got this to y'all. So do you want that number now, or do you?
We, well, I mean, go ahead and give us the number. We can't take any action on it, but.
Yeah, so basically, it's about, on average, about $1,500 a floor, if you average out everything,
Per room?
per room. And they
Yes.
go in and put a 4-inch,
Lip around it?
yeah, they do a 4-inch, so basically what it does is turns it into a, if you can imagine, say, a shower pan.
Yeah.
And everything goes back to the drain. So if there is a problem, it goes to the drain, but at the same time, we have water tape that will alarm and tell us what's going on, or at least tell us there's water.
Same floor, like, there's one on 5, I think, right inside the, by that bathroom, that new bathroom. Either on 4 or 5, I think there's a floor done like that.
Yeah.
Oh, in the
Right
mechanical
beside
room?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the mechanical rooms.
Yeah, that was
that one's actually got
Because
a
of-
floor drain in it.
because of water, that, there's been different types of attempts to contain it. However, that very room you're talking about, we had a condensate leak, and it went down into the new courtroom. So, because of the cracks in the floor. So, it's gonna be important that when we do this, that we try to do it right, to where it'll last for years.
No, I think it's a different room he's talking about.
Art.
What leaked into the one leaked into the new courtroom. That's all in the 4th floor.
That's 4th floor.
Fourth floor courtroom,
Mechanical
which is
room.
a hot mess,
Yep,
which is next on your hit list.
yep. But that's about the average cost. I do have a cost per closet, or per area. And it varies a little bit due to the
Okay.
complexity.
Would maintenance be doing that, or would that be a job that goes out to?
It's a company that actually
Okay,
does it.
okay.
Because they put down a 2-part epoxy type system that also has the 4-inch edging that goes around it.
Right now, the ones that are in place, if they have pans, they're poorly designed, and what pans are there are rusted out, so. But not all of them even have any attempt whatsoever of gathering water.
And this is just something you would handle, you would supervise in-house, and we just have a company come in and do the work.
Correct,
That's good.
yeah. On the 4th floor mechanical room that I was just referring to, there's 3 units, 3 small units that serve different areas. And then there's a larger unit that serves numerous areas. Air handler number 2 serves a whole lot of space. That mechanical room has got pans, it's got, you name it, there's anything to try to stop water from getting out of that room. It's been done in the past. Flex Seal, I'm sure, because they saw the guy with the boat going, that'll work.
But
but
none of it's adequate, none of it.
But none of it
covers
works.
Everything.
And it was just, if you can imagine though, that floor was built back, I guess that used to be a courtroom or
Yeah,
something back in the day.
16 floor.
So it was, it has step floors in it, so it just was never built for the purpose of having to use
Create a
it.
waterfall effect.
It
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
And it works, waterfall effect works. But then it hits something and then there it goes. So anyway, we're looking at converting 3 of those units to 1 unit. As opposed to having 3 separate systems, we'll just have 1 system that will serve those areas, same areas. Then number 2, that unit, that would go back also as is, and it would serve all the areas it currently serves now. But during that process, when those units come out, we're going to treat those floors, seal those floors, and to where we have a pan type system so we can catch water when we have that problem and it doesn't go downstairs. So,
Okay. I'd like us to move forward on this as quickly as we can. From a budget perspective, it'd be nicer to do it in 23 rather than 24.
Better get it on the agenda then.
But and I also will need to check with Melvin. I mean, you add up 2 of these projects together and they're over 50. So I will need to make sure that we don't run into any issues with bid requirements.
Well, but you don't have a price for the floors.
Yes, I do.
I mean, but it's not in.
It's not in there.
our
No,
stuff.
I didn't get it till after the fact.
So we're
But you're-
wanting just a proposal
It's
with
one-
numbers
one
on it,
job at a
basically,
time.
what we're looking at.
I know,
Yeah.
and
You
I
know-
think that's right, but.
Judge, this rings true with me because I am an individual that had come home and found my living room ceiling caved in because of a
Wow.
unit up in the attic. This really does happen, and when it happens, you think, boy, that would have sure been a lot better way to go. And Ricky, I commend you
Yep.
on finding preventive maintenance things that will keep us, because sometimes I think maintenance just gets so overwhelmed, we're running around, fixing things as they break, and this is looking forward to something
Yeah.
that will save this county a lot of money and a lot of heartache, so.
Just FYI, the new temporary courtroom has already experienced 2 water releases
Yeah.
from.
I mean, this is gonna
from-
happen.
from
This is
one
not-
set of
yeah.
units that we're addressing and one
Two
we've
separate.
got shut off right now, but that would be a later year that we address that other side of 4.
And to have it happen into a newly remodeled area that's just been
Yeah.
fixed up makes it worse than.
We were trying to open up
Yeah.
the temporary courtroom and we had another leak and had to pull a light fixture and
Yeah,
figure out
this-
where it was coming from.
That would have definitely paid for at least the floor treatment, so,
Yeah.
plus some.
This really does happen. I've experienced it. It's not fun.
No, I just want to echo Commissioner Muller on thanks for looking ahead and
Sure.
doing the homework and bringing us a plan.
Thanks,
Okay,
Rick.
thank you. Any other questions on this item? All right, moving on to item number 3. Discuss, consider, and/or take action on a lump sum option at retirement for county employees and to approve an elected rate. So this is the follow-on from our conversation 2 Fridays ago? Yeah, or 3 Fridays ago, where we have to make a couple of decisions. One, we do need to decide if we're going to do a lump sum option this year. We need to make that decision and do it because it will affect the required rate that we pay. But then we also need to decide if we're going to go above that required rate to select an elected rate. We need to pick one. My opinion, for what it's worth, is I would like to see us, I think it would be good to move forward with the lump sum option. I think that it would give our employees who are approaching retirement and then who retire, giving them the choice of being able to take their portion of their retirement in one lump sum or a partial lump sum. I think it's good to give our employees the chance to do something, make a decision with their own money. If they choose to take it out or choose not to take it out, that's up to them, but it gives them the choice. And on the elected rate, our budget assumed a 14% selection. So from a budget perspective, we're fine with an elected rate of 14% or below that. So, and as Erica discussed with us that day, the advantage to doing a elected rate that's higher than a required rate is helps bend your curve over the long run on your liabilities and can help bring down your costs later. It also helps build in some cushion if this court ever wants to make a decision to make some
Makes it
different
easier
choices.
to budget for.
And it
too.
makes it
So,
easier to budget for.
I would make the motion that we approve it at the 14% elected rate.
Do we want to use all of our setback money? Or should we make it 13 and carry a little cushion?
From the standpoint of just having some unspent,
And we budget 14, but in essence, we budget a number.
yeah.
So what is that number and how is that affected by, I guess there's still cushion exists when,
Because we're budgeting
David's
based on
open or-
full employment. That's
or
right.
John's open.
Yeah. So I'm not.
So
I'm-
there is a cushion.
Yeah, I'm not worried about us going over that amount because it's budgeted for full employment, which that'd be a great problem to have, would be us reaching full employment, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay,
It's a good
so
move.
Commissioner Beecham made the motion, Commissioner Fincannon seconded to do an elected rate at 14%. Does your motion, did you also want to move on the lump sum, or?
Yeah.
Okay, yes on the lump
Partial
sum.
lump sum with the 14%, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the motion that's before us is that we will offer a lump sum option moving forward for 2024 and beyond, and we'll elect a rate of 14% for retirement.
Is that rate become permanent or is it adjustable?
It's adjustable whenever
Yes.
the court changes it.
Okay.
We have to do the required, but, and it doesn't, it's not just a once a year thing either. We could choose to elect a different rate if for some reason we needed to.
We're required 12.53 if we go to partial lump sum.
That's right.
That would be our required rate. What we're doing is paying off, or paying it down for future years.
And we're not raising it.
No,
No,
we've
correct.
already
It's already
budgeted for it.
14%.
It's already budgeted.
We've already budgeted that number, so it just makes it easier to budget for that number in future years because we know we've already pot off some of the burden for the future years.
Yeah. Any other discussion or questions? Okay. Since it was two things, I'll just say it one more time. So the motion by Commissioner Beecham and seconded by Commissioner Fincannon was to elect to move forward with a lump sum option and an elected rate of 14%. Any questions or public comment on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right, item number 4 is discuss, consider, and/or take action to authorize the county judge to sign the 2024 Wichita County Indigent Defense Grant Program Resolution. So this is a grant that the Texas Indigent Defense Commission does every year, and it's based on a math formula, which y'all can see in your backup documents, but basically every county in Texas gets $15,000 plus a share of a $17.5 million pot broken down by population and indigent defense expenditures by population. So just for everyone's benefit, last year we received $131,000 as our portion of this grant amount. And the only things that are required of us are we have to comply with monitoring reports, which we are already doing, and then we have to, all of our courts have to have their indigent defense plans, which all of our courts passed their biennial plan last year, so we're good with that through what this grant life would be.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
Beat me.
Commissioner Fincannon made the motion to authorize signature. Commissioner Beecham seconded. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, discuss, consider, and/or take action to award the bid for food services for Wichita County Detention Facilities. As a reminder, we opened the bids for this, was that October 2nd, Nancy, that we opened them, or was it before that?
It was September.
Okay, so we opened the bids, we had one bid, Aramark was the sole bid, but in the RFP, we had October 16th is the date we would be awarding, which is why we're doing it today. Nancy also did a little spreadsheet of the pricing difference between the previous contract amount versus what's being proposed in the 2024 one. I just did some quick math, and it looks like our population numbers somewhere between 9 and 11% increases, which, is substantial, but as you mentioned earlier, Commissioner Mahler, it is what it is on food.
When was the last time we?
2012? No,
14.
14.
2014.
Since 14, since we changed the pricing?
No, we had
It-
there should have been a price increase in 21, I believe.
Okay.
21 was the last price increase.
Well, the comparison here is showing what, October 22, would that be it?
Oh, okay, they're at October 22.
There was a Fifth Amendment on October 3rd.
Of last year? Okay. And that was a price change amendment?
It was the CPI to the price increase, isn't it? Is all it is.
That's where it got the latest numbers.
Wonder why they changed the math. What's the purpose behind that? Any clue?
I don't know.
For making them bigger population?
Yeah, like it is playing with around 20, 30, 25 or so, and then now it's jumped to nearly 50. Which makes more sense to me. It'd be at 50.
Did we not do
Oh, yeah,
juvenile snacks
the
before?
increments are different.
Did we not do
So,
juvenile snacks
okay, I was
before?
No, we have to.
Probably there for a minute.
All right, well, it's not showing on
I think that price may have been included
Okay.
before in
With
the
the
juvenile
meals?
meals, but now they've separated it out. But it is a requirement.
Yeah.
We have to give them snacks. That's a EJJD
Yeah.
requirement.
Well, and to some degree, we have one entity that bid, but also Airmark has, from everything I can tell, has done a great job. Captain,
Yeah,
any
we
any
haven't-
complaints or,
No.
yeah.
And
You get into that range there, that 550 to 599 or whatever you're looking at, $1.50, $1.56. But that looks a little different than the last Whataburger menu I looked at.
Yeah. And I wonder if those snacks were dealt with, they do buy a lot of juvenile food, but they may not have to as much now if it's part of that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when I went to work here, it was all done in-house, and this would cost a fortune nowadays to do it in-house. So this looks pretty good.
Is this a 36-cent snack? I don't know. It probably is, or close to it.
So we'll entertain a motion to
Motion to approve.
award the bid.
We'll just keep switching back and forth.
9% inflation is kind of where we are, Judge, really. I mean, I think that's a real number.
Well, and I think food inflation
Oh,
is
it's,
even
yeah,
higher than that,
it's higher than that. That's,
judging by my grocery
And
bill.
actual
yeah, I
inflation.
agree.
All right, so we've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon and seconded by Commissioner Beecham to award the bid for food services to Aramark. Do we have any questions or comment on the motion or the item?
So going forward, do I need to reach out to Airmark and have them send us a contract? for
Yes.
review? Okay.
And work with Nancy on that.
Okay. I'll take care of it.
All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, at this time, let's move to item number 6, receive third quarter investment report from Stephen Jones, County Treasurer. Mr. Jones.
Stephen will find us a 9%, way to make that 9%. Yeah, so
We're trying.
you're trying. So we can continue to
Thanks, sir.
feed the masses.
Thank you.
Right.
We had a investment committee meeting last week where we went over this and not a whole lot not a whole lot changing. We had a few things that came mature that we cashed in and we made some money on. We've had another one this past week that did so. Mostly good news. We're moving out of stuff that's older that has a lower interest rate. We're moving into things with a higher interest rate. Trying to keep that trend going, trying to keep the weighted average maturity down. Per this report, at the end of September, it was 2.06, I believe. And since we made the changes last week, it's right around 2. So we're moving forward with policy, keeping things in check and getting things where we want it.
Yeah. We still have those 5.5 million in investments that are out at 27.
Yeah, we can't really do anything about
Can't do
those.
anything with them. They're making decent interest, but not.
Yeah, it's not what we could be doing if we had the cash to invest right now, but through checking with our people, it would cost us more to sell them and trade them in than it would.
Which
to
we've
just
been
hold-
able to do on some other,
What's up?
we have been able to move some other.
We have, yes.
That we sold at a loss to make up for
Mhm.
with improved interest. So,
Yeah, the loss we would take on those 2027 ones is more than we could make up by reinvesting now.
Yeah. So, but key is we're within our average weighted maturity.
Yes, we're getting really good
Which
there.
is
so.
where we wanted to be
Mhm.
starting off a year ago, so.
Yeah, it's all positive stuff there.
And Stephen, tell everyone what you deposited last week.
Last week, yeah, we had a $65,000 check last week. One of the ones that we had cashed in a few months ago, we redid for a 6-month CD, and that came mature last week. That's the one that was on 10/6 that came mature. It was for $3 million. We've been getting good interest on that every quarter, and then, well, I guess 2 quarters, and then we got 65,000. We cashed that in and reinvested the principal. Both, I forget what the exact one was, but I think one was 5.5% and one was about 5.25%. So,
One for half a year and one for a full year. Is that
yes,
correct?
And that's what brought our maturity down too. So, we're making steps. We're doing a good job. I think the committee is keeping track of things, and we're doing moves when we can and staying within policy.
Does the committee meet once a quarter?
Quarterly.
Yeah.
Unless we need to meet for some other
Right.
reason.
It's stabilized now.
It's looking pretty good now, and main thing we're keeping an eye on is what the Fed's up to, and
What
some
the
form
world's
of-
up to.
Yeah. If we need to make something a little longer term when we think the rates are gonna start dropping, to keep an eye on that. But for now, it looks like the rates are gonna go up at least one more time, they said, so we're doing good.
That's why it's not a good idea to reach out to 27 with those larger
Exactly,
investments. But
That's why we want the maturity down, and I think policy is 2 years, and I'd like to get it down to 1.5 if we can, but
This report does not include, LPPF is separately and. would
Yeah, that's not
include
our
this.
money.
Yeah.
And they don't, I think they have no, we just have them in the bank account, we don't have a text
Okay.
anymore. That's a little more of a pass-through for us, we don't actually have that money.
good job.
Mhm.
I do like seeing it broke down like this by the years. That's just,
It's a whole lot
Makes it-
easier to
it's-
understand.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, the portfolio by maturity, most of that stuff comes straight from Hilltop, Murph Davis and those guys, put it in a report, and then I put it into this form for us. Mike double checks the weighted average maturity, because he's smarter than me. And we go from there. So,
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments on the item?
Thank
Stephen, thank you.
thank you.
All right, and item number 7, receive update on courthouse renovation, elevator projects, and county courthouse annex. Commissioner Beecham?
Big thing is we've got the temporary certificate of occupancy for the 5th floor, so we can start using it. Let the judges and Leslie know that last week. I think they'll start doing jury assembly in mid-November.
Yeah.
I think all the announcements have already gone out for the next jury pool.
Yep.
So furniture's supposed to be here Wednesday for
Pretty
that.
cool.
We will have it set up for use as a, for use as board hour or jury assembly. I understand that the state inspector is supposed to be on site today for elevator 2. I haven't seen them yet. I'm not gonna hold my breath like I say every week. But that should be positive. They were here pretty much all week, long last week, working on elevator. So maybe by the end of the day, we'll have 3 working elevators.
Wow.
Yeah, knock on wood. Finishing up loose ends before we move on to anything else in the courthouse, getting the first floor finished up
That's
so we
all
can actually
good.
do a real punch list on it. Annex still moving along well. They've got all the ceiling, or most all the ceiling tiles in. They still gotta adjust the cloud ceiling and go back and do some touch-up paint that we pointed out needed to be done. I haven't been over there. They finished your carpet over the weekend?
It's
Yeah.
looking great, thank you.
Yeah,
Keep it on top.
awesome.
Appreciate
Yeah. But, yeah, everything's moving, so.
What's, any idea on expected completion date on the annex? What's the, I know that's tough to,
Totally complete, probably early summer,
okay.
late spring,
On just the
100%.
tax side.
all of it. Yeah, everything we got outstanding over there.
That would be quite a
Yeah.
accomplishment,
Mhm.
have that ready to go.
Yeah. The property side's not gonna be as extensive as the motor vehicle side. So we don't have near the abatement to do. So, and they're already fully mobilized in the building, so it shouldn't take long to get ramped up. Most of the delay come with that, almost 2 months, getting abatement and getting everybody on site. So as soon as we move over one, we'll start the other.
What was the purpose of that, on that ceiling, like popcorn ceiling and them cement ceilings? What, did it serve as a sound or?
Most likely, they
Sound
they
better.
put that asbestos popcorn on the ceiling to hold down noise. Remember, it was a car lot when it was first built, it was all concrete, so.
It's also a fire
Flat.
retardant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, it is?
that was its main purpose, asbestos, wasn't it?
But I mean, how do you burn concrete?
Just keep the heat off. You know, you take fire burning from beneath into concrete, you keep that heat off of it, it just protects the structure of your building.
I see.
It's kind of why the Twin Towers
Yeah.
went down, is the
Heat.
fire heat weakened the concrete structure and metal structure.
I'm no longer hungry for lunch after you said asbestos popcorn. So-
asbestos
Yeah.
popcorn.
If I could add something on the annex elevator, because we get a lot of calls and comments about it. It's up and running, and since they put in the board that we waited on for quite some time, it had a failure. That was right on Friday before the holiday on Monday. I got the email, got all the elevator guy. We met Monday at the annex. He started checking it out, got it back going. He, by the way, the TK guy that we have right now, his name's Steven. And this gentleman is very dedicated to what he's doing, and he's really
Yeah.
trying to help us. And so I'm gonna send TK some information about him, because he's just a super guy. But he got it back up, and then he has called or texted me every single day
Wow.
to ask me how things are going. He's come by on numerous occasions just to check. But he's working with the engineers to go back through every single string of code that's written into that program that runs that elevator to find out where the string is that's going bad, that's causing the problem. So hopefully, with a little more time, the bugs will be completely out of it, and we'll have it.
Actually has someone that cares, and is
Yeah.
trying to get it fixed.
So the Friday, that was actual, it struggled. I thought that maybe the power it was a power thing on our end that we turned down the power, but that wasn't the case. It actually hit a
It
snag.
was actually at the very end of the day. It was about 5:30 or so whenever it went down, and then I got the email. So,
So the board, was that the piece that they thought they weren't gonna be able to get till mid-November, but they were able to find one?
well, they got it.
Oh, they got it in
earlier than
early.
expected,
Okay.
so, and they installed that, but once again, there seems like there's an error in the code within the software, which would be Brendan's arena. But so they're trying to resolve that, so, just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good stuff. Actually making progress. A lot of good progress.
Yeah. Good deal.
There's a lot of good progress.
Any other questions or comments on this item? Yes, sir. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, one other, just the flat roof, we did
Oh, yeah.
discuss that at length in our last OAC. They don't have a resolve yet, but it will be resolved. We can't leave it flat. That was not how it was ever intended, but they're working on a resolve and they'll get that to me soon.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. It is 10:52.